All right, hello everybody. This is Sonia Suckup, coming to you from my cozy home. Sean and I had talked, and we really wanted to support everyone through this time, and wanted to do that by offering you this short little webinar on some mental health wellness tips. So today we're just going to go through three really great coping skills. We'll talk a bit about mindfulness, and then we will end with a conversation about connection. All right, so these are my personally top three coping skills. If nothing else works, let's focus on getting really good at these three things, and hopefully we will find some relief. So the first one is deep breaths. The idea is that when we take deep breaths, we want to make sure that we're exhaling longer than we're inhaling. And the theory on that is that it activates the parasympathetic nervous system that helps signal our brain, hey, it's okay, we can calm down. So a few examples that I will work on with children specifically are using images to help us in practicing deep breaths. So the example that I use is we are going to a birthday party, and this person is turning 100 years old, but they need help blowing out the birthday candles. And so we might also offer an example of, gosh, you smell the cake, it smells delicious, it smells so good. So we're going to smell the cake and blow out the birthday candles. Another piece of imagery I use is looking at when dandelions go to seed. I don't know about you all, but when I was a kid, I was probably responsible for dandelions spreading across half the county. Every opportunity I got to blow those things off, I did. So that's another piece of imagery that we can offer. And then another one is smell the flower, blow out the birthday candles. So these are just simple imagery tools that can be helpful. If you want to come up with your own, go for it. Do it. I encourage it. The next thing is powerful thoughts. So mindset and what you're thinking has so much power. There's been a lot of research on the power of really positive thinking, and this is what I'm going to tell you. In order for your thoughts to be powerful, they don't have to be complicated. They can be incredibly simple and incredibly focused on what you need to hear. So for me personally today, my mindset is going to be, I'm going to get through today. Today is going to be okay. And every day those powerful thoughts can change. But I encourage you to think about what are the things that you really need to be thinking today. And if you're having some negative thoughts, what are the powerful thoughts that are needed to combat some of those negative thoughts? And finally, sleep. Sleep is so very important, not just for grown-ups, for kids as well. There's so much information out there about sleep and the power of sleep. But I took this little segment from a Harvard mental health letter stating that neuroimaging and neurochemistry studies suggest that a good night's sleep helps foster both mental and emotional resilience, while chronic sleep deprivation sets the stage for negative thinking and emotional vulnerability. So now more than ever, we need to be focused on how are we going to get good sleep. Now, obviously, when there's a national pandemic on our hands, that can sometimes be a challenge, but we can combat that by practicing good sleep hygiene. Making sure that you're sticking to a consistent sleep-wake schedule, making sure that the bedroom is a place just for sleep. You're not bringing in work to the bedroom, or you're not bringing in those things that cause you stress into the bedroom. And then making sure that the bedroom is dark and free of distractions. But then also taking into account that everybody has different sleep needs. I am a 8 to 9 hours type of person. If I don't get that, I really feel it. But then I also have some family and friends who need much less than that. So please listen to your body. So with those 3 skills, another helpful tip is to practice those things when you're in a good place, because then you're more likely to remember to use them and feel confident using them when you do really need to use them. All right, let's have a small conversation about mindfulness. Mindfulness is just being aware of your thoughts and feelings in a non-judgmental way. I think for a while, I thought that mindfulness was crossing your legs crisscross applesauce and finding clarity in your mind and not having any thoughts, but that's very far from what mindfulness really is. Mindfulness has 2 main components, which are awareness and acceptance. So that awareness piece is just simply noticing what's going on with you, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations in your body. And again, here the goal isn't to clear your mind or stop thinking at all. It's just to become aware of what's happening. And then that second piece of acceptance is that the thoughts, feelings, and sensations that you notice, just observe them in a non-judgmental manner. So this is really hard to do sometimes, but simply just noticing, wow, I'm feeling a bit anxious today. And then that's it. No further judgment, no change needed. Of course, if you want to take action on it, you can, but really it's just practicing the ability to accept your state of mind and your body. Here are just the simple benefits of mindfulness. I think the research is out there as well, if you want to look into this yourself, that being able to practice awareness of your thoughts, feelings, and body sensations has a lot of value. And again, this can be done when you're in a good place or when you're feeling okay. That way, when you're not, you're more likely to remember to use it, and it can be helpful. So I'm going to give you some examples of how to practice mindfulness. So the first one is mindfulness meditation. So this is just simply being in a good space to notice your body. Notice what's happening in your mind. And constantly kind of challenging yourself to just focus on breathing. Just focus on the breathing, the breaths that are going in and out of your lungs. Your mind will slowly take over, and you'll notice yourself like thinking all these thoughts. Really try hard to bring it back to just noticing your breathing. And that is kind of the initial practice of mindfulness meditation. The next example is a body scan. I love this one personally because you can do it wherever you're at. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it while you're, making dinner, whatever. So the way I choose to do this, and you can do it however you'd like, but I will choose either the top of my head or the tips of my toes. And you just start noticing your body. So you notice the top of your head, and then you notice the full weight of your head, and then you move down to your shoulders, and then your neck, and then you move all the way down to your arms, and then your torso. And as you're doing this, you're just noticing your body, what it's feeling like, what, if anything, is tight or tense or hurts or feels relaxed. And then, I will always tend to find something that's tight or feels stressful. I will give that part of my body permission to relax, and I will sit with it. I will sit with that part of my body until I can relax. So it doesn't have to take a long time. It can take a minute, it can take more. And then this last example of mindfulness, again, I really like doing this when I'm going into things where I might be more anxious, like going to the doctor's office. You just go through the 5 senses, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I always go in this order because I feel like I'm not getting stuck, because if I started with like 5 things I could taste, I might be there for a while. But this seems to really help. And if you get all the way through and you're still feeling not okay, you can go through it again. This is also a little plug to say, always carry with you like gum or mints or candies or something like that. just to help bring some oral awareness. And when I get to number one, I'm always very aware of either having maybe not the best breath or a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is connection. So during this time of social distancing and not having a normal routine and not being as connected to people, we mustn't forget that we are hardwired to connect to people. We are hardwired to need one another and to be in each other's presence. This is a quote from Brené Brown, who I love her. I think her research and just who she is as a person are really, really phenomenal. But she says, we are hardwired to connect with others. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives, and without it, there is suffering. So again, we're going through this time where there's probably a lot of suffering and we need one another more than ever, but having a physical presence with one another is a bit limited. So when you think about it, we're hardwired for a connection at our cellular level. When we're born, 100% of our survival relies on another person. So it makes sense that it kind of belongs in our DNA that we need one another. So the next question is, how do we get this? How do we get this when we're not supposed to be, within six feet of each other? Really, connection is about an experience with another person. That's what it is. So having a personal conversation, helping someone, listening to someone, smiling at someone, these are all things that you can do without even being in the same room, Technology has made it so easy to FaceTime and to Skype and to share memes back and forth. And connection is really any type of bid that we make to join in with an experience with another person. So John Gottman has a really great segment on bids for connection, and if you're interested in that, I encourage you to look into it. But essentially, he says that we all offer bids for connection in the most simple ways. So for example, with my grandfather, we can talk about the weather all day long, and he loves talking about it. So if he calls me on the phone, the first thing I might say is, so what's the weather doing? Because I know he's going to know and he's going to want to talk about it and share that with me. For little kids, my nephew, he loves Legos. And if I'm offering a bid for connection, I might say something like, what did you build with Legos last night? Or would you like to build Legos with me? So thinking about this broader idea of what connection is and how we can maintain connections with people during this really challenging time is really important. If you are struggling or need to get some ideas about ways to connect, please reach out to me and let me know. I am always willing to brainstorm and collaborate with all of you on what you might need, or I'm always up for some great ideas as well. So that is all for today. If you have any questions, please reach out to Sean or I. Our contact information can be found on the ESU8 website. My email is ssukup@esu8.org. I probably should have included that in here, but please reach out to us, and I hope you are all well, and wash your hands, and I'm sending virtual hugs to all of you.